Greetings, Carl with Disability Consulting. Want to talk to you about the burning question, do I need a rep? And if so, why do I need a rep? Well, statistically, you are 300% more likely to win a disability case with a representative than without. That's Social Security stats. That's not me, that's Social Security stats. And the things that representatives do are quite effective. Representatives are going to file your case for you. They're going to make arguments in your favor. They're going to file appeals for you. They're going to help you with the paperwork, what to say, what not to say. Although I am not one of those reps that will tell you what you have to put down, I will tell you if something that you've said is not clear or it can be said better, or if it's something that really doesn't advance your case. That's, my job is to give you the best advice to make sure that the things that you tell Social Security will result in an allowance. We'll also handle making sure medical records are in your file. At the lower levels, initial and reconsideration levels, the state agencies request those medical records, but we also will request them if they haven't come in, and we'll make sure that Social Security gets them. The worst thing that can happen to you in a case at the lower levels is that they make a decision and all the records weren't in. You need all the records in. At the hearing and above levels, the hearing and the appeals council and federal court cases, the obligation to get medical records is on the rep, and so we actually will spend the bucks and get your medical records and submit them to Social Security. So I want to talk a little bit more, focus a little bit more on, I believe, the biggest benefit of having a representative, and that is at the hearings level. So there's an old adage that somebody who chooses to represent themselves in the civil or criminal matter has a fool for a client. I don't know if I agree with that, because you don't have to have a rep. You can go it alone if you want to. But statistically speaking, like I've already said, you're much, much more likely to win your case with a rep than without. But you need somebody to advocate for you. In a hearing, you can't just go in there and monologue and tell the judge, well, this is what my day's like, and just start spewing all sorts of explanations that aren't very orderly. They're not thought out. They don't fall in a certain order. With the representative, they're absolutely going to fall into a certain order. We're going to ask you certain questions, and we're going to ask you certain questions in order. In a hearing, there is a vocational witness who is going to talk about vocational matters, jobs, job numbers, job codes. These are all things that Social Security law requires. And I haven't met a client yet who could ask or cross-examine that person, but a representative will. That's our job, to cross-examine and make sure that they're not giving damaging testimony that goes unchallenged. So representative will do all that. The rep fees, a lot of people are like, okay, well, how much is it going to cost for me to hire you? Well, we don't charge anything up front. It's a true contingency fee. And if we have your case, let's say worst case scenario, we have your case and we don't win it at initial, we don't win it at recon, we don't win it at a hearing, and we don't win it at the appeals council, and we try to ship it to the federal court and they're not interested either, and it takes 2.5, 3 years. You owe us nothing. It's a contingency fee. We didn't win your case, therefore you don't owe us anything. However, if we do win your case, we get our fee from your back pay. And while we're talking about back pay, let me give you another benefit of having a representative. Because it's in our best interest to get you as much money as we can, because our fee comes out of your back pay, we will make sure that Social Security gives you the best onset date that they can. And an onset date is the day you became disabled. Just a fancy way of saying it's the day you became disabled. Let's say that you said it was January of 2024. Social Security sends you to an exam in June of 2024, and they say, oh, okay, well, we find this person disabled, but only to June of 2024, not all the way back to January of 2024. So, you know, you're 5 months of benefits out, and let's say your monthly benefit amount is $1,500. Okay, 5 times 1,500 is a lot. It's, you know, over $7,000. You can leave that on the table, and if you didn't have a representative, you most likely would just leave it on the table. But a representative, full disclosure, it's in our best interest to get that $7,500 for you, because our fee comes out of your back pay, and the higher your back pay, the higher fee, the bigger amount we get. So it's in your best interest statistically, and probably just from a, you know, mental health standpoint, that you don't have to worry about the garbage of going through all of Social Security's hoops, to have a representative. For a free case review, click on the link in the description or give us a call at 877-204-8159.